Hello and welcome to our Safe Working Process, or SWP. Today I'll be demonstrating how to safely disconnect and reconnect an appliance. Things to know: you must apply your own 650 volt rated gloves for mechanical protection, and an analog IR and continuity tester. When you get to your assessment, it's good to introduce yourself and ask these questions. Hi, I'm Stephen. I'm here today to disconnect an appliance. Is this the appliance that I'll be disconnected? Is this our reference earth, our trailing lead, and our live known source? Is this a switchboard associated with the appliance I'm disconnected? Is there any safety services? There will be a disruption to the power supply, is that okay? And is there any workers out in the field that need to be notified? If that's all good, then you can start your process. At this point, you can sign on to your risk assessment. Make sure you choose the right one for the job. I have the heater, so this is the one I'll be signing on to. And I'm going to get some details down of the appliance. Number 21784. It's 24 volt AC, 10 amp. I'm going to go over to the switchboard and draw that down. So I have a 3-phase main switch, followed by an RCD, and 3 circuit breakers protecting the heaters. Okay, that's all I can get down at this point. I'm going to test my gloves. First, I'll be testing my insulated gloves, checking around the rim, giving it a bit of a stretch, looking for any cracks. Then we're going to do an air test. I'm listening to see if I can hear any air coming out through pinholes, making sure it holds air. Okay, they're good. I'm going to have a look at my mechanical protection, making sure there's no abrasions, bits of metal stuck in it, any damage to these. Looks good. Okay, them gloves look good to use. I'm going to do a battery check on our IR tester. It's within the good battery range. Go over to the 3 ohm scale, make sure our meter is working and it is calibrated. Great. I'm going to connect the trailing lead to our IR tester. And zero our meter to make sure any resistance from the trailing lead is removed. Okay, that's on 0. Beautiful. We can connect one end of the trailing lead to the earth electrode and one into the earth terminal of our reference earth, and we will get a resistance. We can then disconnect our meter, make sure it's working, recalibrate, and I'm happy that we have an effective earth. At this stage, we're going to test the appliance frame to make sure there is no voltage on it. This is done by using a voltmeter. We will test our voltmeter on our reference voltage. We have 24 volts. We're going to test at least 3 spots on the heater's frame. Okay, the 0 volts present. Test our meter, and that is working correctly. Great. Now we're going to do a continuity test of the earthing system. First, we check our battery. Okay, that's working. Great. 3 ohm scale, short our leads out, and 0 our meter if needed. We go from the reference earth to the appliance frame, at least 3 spots, and we're getting a reading of 0.1 of an ohm, which is under the required 0.5 of an ohm, which is a good earth. And just make sure our meter's working. Okay, great. I'm quite happy with that earth. And now we're going to put some tags on. 1 tag on the appliance. 1 tag on the isolator. And 1 tag on the switchboard. Now we conduct a voltage test to see if there is voltage at the terminals of the heater. Get our voltmeter. We test it on our reference voltage. Voltage there. From our reference earth, that is 0 volts. Earth to neutral, 0 volts. Earth to active, 24 volts. We test our meter. Okay. At this point, we've determined there is voltage within the appliance, and we're going to start isolating some circuits. Speak to the customer, let them know that you will be isolating the supply and turning off some circuit breakers. Get our lock dog. Key goes in your pocket. We then can go back to the appliance and see if we've isolated the correct circuit. We test our voltage meter and we have 24 volts. Then we go to the terminals and we test from earth to earth, 0 volts, earth to neutral, 0 volts, earth to active, 0 volts, which is good. We test our tester, it's working, 24 volts, and we'll just test between conductors. Earth to neutral, 0 volts, earth to active, 0 volts, neutral to active, 0 volts, and we test our tester at 24 volts. So at this point, I would say we've correctly isolated that circuit. Before I disconnect anything, I'm going to get a diagram of the terminal block. Terminal block, conduit to the bottom, and we have an earth, neutral, active. I'm going to remove the active first, neutral, and earth, conduit. First, active, neutral. Mark a circuit breaker and put the drawing into the terminal block. Clean up your work area. And let the customer know you've correctly and safely disconnected the appliance, and you will be back for reconnection. Okay, so we're back for reconnection. I haven't removed my gloves, so there's no need to retest. If you were to remove your gloves at any point, you need to go through the testing procedure. Some things to speak to the customer about. The switchboard. Is this the switchboard associated with the heater? Is there any safety services on this switchboard? Have any modifications been done to the switchboard? You need to let the customer know that you may be interrupting supply during the reconnection process. Okay, after that, we will be testing the appliance to make sure that it's fit for service. First thing we will be doing is grabbing our analog IR and continuity tester. Checking the battery, it's good, yep. And setting it to the 3 ohm scale. We short our leads out and we zero the meter to read 0 ohms. Okay. We're going to do a continuity test from the earth terminal to the frame of the appliance. And right now we're reading 0.1 of an ohm, which is a good low resistance. Check a second spot, it's a little bit less, and one more. Okay, we test our tester, and I'm pretty happy with that earth. Now it's time to do an IR test. We need to turn the heater on to its maximum. The reason for this is we need to make sure that all the wiring inside the heater will be activated. We set our IR tester to 500 volts scale, which is double the voltage of the appliance. Short our leads up to make sure our meter's working. And then we can test from the earth terminal to the active terminal. And we have a reading of greater than 200 megohm, which is excellent for this. And from the neutral terminal to the earth terminal, which is also greater than 200 megohm. The minimum IR test for an appliance is 1 megohm, but this can be also as low as 10,000 ohms or 0.01 megohm for anything with a sheathed element. Okay, so that appliance is safe to reconnect. It's time to reconnect the cable. We will test our tester on our reference voltage, and we have 24 volts there. Go inside the J box and test from earth to earth. 0 volts, earth to active, 0 volts, earth to neutral, 0 volts. Test our tester, at 24 volts, so that's working. And we test between conductors. Earth to active, 0 volts, earth to neutral, 0 volts, and active to neutral, 0 volts. Test our tester. So that is safe to touch. Remove our conductors from the junction box and place them into the terminal block of the heater. Screw the conduit on, and we connect our earth first. But we need to make sure that the heater is the same and the terminal block is the same. So the heater details are all the same, and the terminal block, earth, neutral, active. Okay, so earth conductor on first, neutral, and active. Okay. Now we will be doing an earth continuity test. So put our meter on and do a battery check. Okay, good. Go to the 3 ohm scale and we short our leads out, and our meter is reading 0, which is great. And we go from the reference earth to the frame of the appliance. Great. So I've just measured 0.1 of an ohm, which is less than the maximum resistance value of 0.5 of an ohm, which indicates the earthing system is a pass. At this point, we can speak to the customer and let them know we will be reissuing supply to the appliance, and to notify any personnel to keep clear from the area. Get our key out of our pocket. We go over to our lock dog and remove our lock dog. And we can turn supply on. We return to the appliance and we need to do a final voltage test to make sure that voltage is back at the appliance. Test on our reference voltage, and we've got 24 volts there. We test from earth to earth and we have 0 volts. Earth to neutral, 0 volts. Earth to active, which is 24 volts, which is good. Test our tester, we've got 24 volts. And I'd like to do just one last test on the conductors. Earth to neutral, 0 volts. Earth to active, 24 volts. And neutral to active, 24 volts. We test our test to make sure it's working, and we have 24 volts. That's awesome. Pretty happy with that. Okay, at this point we can start removing our tags. One from the heater, one on the isolator, and the one at the switchboard. Clean your work area up. And at this point you will speak to the customer and let them know that you will issue them a certificate of electrical safety. If the job was disconnected and reconnected on separate days, you would have to do a risk assessment for each day and a certificate for each day. I hope this presentation has been helpful, and good luck with your assessments.